This is the Sons of Montezuma podcast. On today's Kiss the Rings Aztecs basketball episode, a special interview with SDSU great Matt Mitchell.
We game time ready. Welcome to my gym where the crowd stays happy. Keep the bus running cause this won't take long. 4 minutes left, here the show still going strong. We game time ready. Opponents can't sleep when they leave. No Freddy, it's the Aztecs in the house tonight. Hoop squad on deck. Who's next to fight?
Aztecs fans, welcome back to another episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast. It's a Kiss the Rings episode. I am your host, Mateo San Diego.
I'm an Aztec warrior.
You can find me obviously at Mateo San Diego on Twitter. And today I am joined. I got both my co-hosts in the building. Definitely have to be in attendance for this one. You cannot stop him. You can only hope to contain him. He is known for rolling deep in the show. What's going on, SD Sports Fiend?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? Good to be back. I'm excited for who we're interviewing.
And we got the Aztecs basketball aficionado and sandwich aficionado. I'm just figuring that out. We'll have to get more info on that. It's Mike Tortola. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, Mikey.
Can't hear you, muted. I can't hear you.
Oh, I muted it. I muted it. I forgot to unmute it. No, I'm happy to be back. I'm glad to see you guys. I'm looking forward to this one. I've been kind of looking through the numbers and stuff today, and just kind of, I was up early today. I'm looking forward to this one. I know this means a lot to all of us.
Go ahead, start it up.
Today, we welcome to the show one of the all-time Aztec greats. This Riverside, California native is one of the most, if not the most versatile player ever to set foot on the Viejas floor. He is the third player in school history to have 1,000 points, 500 rebounds, 200 assists, and 100 steals. He has 2 regular season and 2 Mountain West Conference tournament championships. He's third in conference victories, 5th in points, rebounds, assists combined, and consecutive starts, 6th in points and 3-point field goals, 7th in 3-point field goal attempts and victories, 8th in free throw attempts, 9th in games started in free throws, 10th in free throw percentage, field goal attempts, and steals. Some of his many accolades in the 2021 season include Mountain West Player of the Year, First Team All Mountain West First Team Defense, Mountain West Conference Tournament MVP, and Mountain West Conference Tournament All-Tournament Team. He became only the 4th Aztec to be named Mountain West Player of the Year and first to earn MVP of the Mountain West Tournament in the same season. He led the team in scoring with 15.4 points a game and was second in rebounding with 5.6 per game, being named as an honorable mention AP All-American. He was a 2019 Swiss League MVP and maybe has the greatest collegiate mustache there ever was. We are thrilled to welcome one of the greatest Aztecs in men's basketball history to the show, Mr. Matt Mitchell.
Hello.
What's going on, Matt?
How we doing, fellas?
Good. How you doing, Matt?
I'm doing good. Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Thank you for joining us. First off, I'm Mateo. I'm the one that you've been corresponding with back and forth with the shades on. He goes by the name of SD Sports Fiend.
Big fan of yours. I've seen you at Swiss League. I know I got a photo with you. I saw you last year rolling up to Canyon Crest for Swiss League, and it's a pleasure to finally kind of, sit down and chat with you.
Of course. It's definitely a pleasure to be here.
And then with the red shirt, that's Mike Tortola.
Hey, Matt, how are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good, man. I appreciate you taking the time tonight. We're looking forward to hanging out with you for a little bit. Man, that 2021 season, I was looking at it. I was like, wow, man, that was an all-timer. Like, I've seen a lot of ball at State. There's not many that can compete with that season, man. That was impressive. That was awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, really, it was a team effort, and you can't forget Jordan Shackle, and we ran hand in hand in all 4 years. I mean, I say that all the time. Me and Jordan, we built that for 4 years, and that momentum going into it. So that was definitely a special year for me.
Now, I don't know about you guys, and I'm sure, Matt, you can attest, these last few years, it hasn't been that long, since you've been on the Montezuma Mesa, but man, these last few years just seem like a whirlwind. It feels like it was just yesterday, but I mean, now you just finished off playing for Sid Strasbourg, playing Euroball out there. And we love seeing the highlights. I mean, Matt, you look like you were in the best shape of your life. You're killing it out there. What has that experience been like for this past season?
Oh man, it's been crazy. It was definitely a wholesome experience for me. The last 10 months have been very different. Me just going to France and being able to say that I touched at least 5 or 6 different countries, and playing different teams and being able to see different things. It was definitely a special one for me. So being able to play over there for a first year and being able to play in the top league in France, those of you like people that don't know, that's it's not something that really happens at 23. And that was kind of something I had to figure out going over there too. It was that it's not a lot of 23-year-olds that are playing the top leagues overseas in Europe. And so for that was definitely a blessing, to be able to take that opportunity and do my best to make the most of it, going into the summer. But yeah, it was definitely a up and down 10 months. But I loved it. I loved it.
I love the highlights and hearing the Matt and Michelle, just it's such a different vibe. Like the crowds and from the videos from what we see. I mean, did you have a little bit of preparedness going into that?
Je vends des rimes au coin des rues, négro, c'est comme ça que je deal. Rap par rapport au fait que je vis ça comme une idylle. Fais-moi un crayon.
I say yes, I did have a little bit. I have an uncle that played overseas for I think about 15, 16 years. On my mom's side, actually. And so he was able to give me his insight, playing in Germany. And he played in Frankfurt, which is actually about an hour and a half away from Strasbourg. So he was able to kind of give me his insight on the surrounding area, give me his insight on playing in Germany, playing in different places in France, and just playing in crowds like this and what they expect of you. And European basketball really is a different game. There's no key number. You don't have to. The big man is sitting there all day. Guys are physical over there. It's a different type of mentality. So it's really just a whole. To put in a sum, it's really just a wholesome experience. And that's just the only word I can really use to explain it for me, just because I've never had any experience like it. That was my first time being outside of the U.S. So for me, it was really special. I loved it.
How long did it take you to get acclimated to that game over there?
Oof. I'd say maybe a month.
Okay.
Which is and a lot of guys say it's shorter. I took a really short time to come to and then realize different footwork and different calls and how the refs call the game. Yeah, it took me about a month, I'd say.
Was there any language barrier there at all? Is everyone speaking English?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, a big time language barrier. I mean, you're right there. You're on the German border, so people really only speak French and German. And I learned Spanish, and so Spanish didn't help me being on the east border of France. So it was there was a big time language barrier outside of the team, but everybody on the team during the year spoke fluent English. And that was something that's not really all that normal. So to have a team that everybody speaks English, our head coach is the head coach of the Finnish national team. So he's not French. And we really had a diverse and complex team. And so on that end of it, it was really helpful for me to to be able to become acclimated to my teammates. But in the off-court side of it, going to the grocery store, going to the gas station, going to the supermarket, like it was crazy. And I tell people this: my first interaction with French people was going to the grocery store for the first time, trying to get groceries, and I didn't realize in Europe you have to put a label on your produce. But in the US, you can just go grab bananas and you can take it and they just weigh it. They know it's a banana. But no, in Europe, you have to have a label. And in France, you had to have a label. So I didn't know that. And she was trying to tell me in French that I needed a label. But I was trying to tell her, like, I speak English, like I'm new here. And it was just a whole mess. And I was like, you know what? I don't even want it right now. Like, you can keep it. I'll come back later. I'll figure it out. I'll come back with a teammate. But yeah, it was a rough first 2-3 weeks. But after that, I started figuring it out.
Matt's at the grocery store speaking Spanish, like, where are the tortillas at? So, I'm from California. I just want a burrito.
Oh yeah, I just need something to fuel me.
Yeah, I would use Google Translate a lot, I bet, to try to communicate.
Google Translate was my best friend.
Yeah, so, well, I mean, this is the kind of transition into, like, what you're doing now. I heard that you have a summer league contract with the Nuggets. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. I'm actually out here in Denver right now.
Okay.
I've been out here since yesterday afternoon, working out with a few players down here.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that. I know that you had, well, there's a guy that you weren't really a teammate with, but who had played for SIG Strasbourg the year before, and you kind of filled his role. And his name's Ishmael Wainwright. And Ish played with Adam Seiko on the Uganda national team last summer, so they were teammates. But then Ish got a contract with the Phoenix Suns, so I know you're kind of trying to take that same path that Ishmael took to the NBA. Have you had a chance to talk with him or anyone else who's made that transition from European basketball to the NBA?
I can't say I've had a conversation with Ish about the process, but I've definitely spoken with other players. Do you think of the plethora of players that play in France, and some that you don't even realize, like Dante Cunningham, he played in France. Mike James, Dwayne Bacon, and Multi Eunice from Monaco as well. He played with Mike James. He was in the league for a couple of years, so I was able to play against these guys and also have a conversation. After the game, business wise, is what is the smartest move for me? How is the best way to go about it? What's the best way to approach a season in Europe? You're playing 60 games, and the economy is different. It's rougher. Travel. It's a lot of buses. It's a lot of commercial flights and figuring things out. Train rides, whatever it is. But I think speaking to those guys gave me an insight on how to prepare for the season, and then also really evolve my game over the season and really figure other guys out and keep evolving so guys can't figure me out over the course of the season. You're playing 60 games. There's so much film. Everybody knows your tendencies. The scouting report is very in-depth. And so it's just all about trying to be consistent and be a glue guy, the most stable guy on the floor, and really just be effective. And all these guys that I've named are effective in so many different ways in the game. Like Mike James he takes the game over in Europe, and just the way he controls it the game over the course is just insane, and being able to play against him and to have that flow and try and battle against that was really good for me, because going into summer, like, you're playing against a bunch of guys that are NBA ready, just as Mike James is. He's an NBA player, and he chooses to play overseas, and his body of work. So that's something that I kind of prided myself on, and really getting up for those games, playing against the bigger name and bigger team guys, and really just trying to affect the game.
There was one game in particular, you got a game winner, and the crowd went crazy. I mean, what are the fans' reaction towards you out there? Has it been overwhelmingly positive? Has it been just like just a fun ride this past season?
Actually, yeah, the fan base out here, it's not as big as you would think. Actually, it might be as small as you think. We have 6,000 fans per game. Our arena seats 6,000, which is almost half, literally half of what Viejas sat. And so it's a very small gym, but it's 6,000 people, and they're all about your team. They're all about the SIG club and the SIG army, and it's just a different feel. It's more I think for me, it was more personal with these fans, because these are people that support you over the year, and people that show up to different events over the year you do with the team, and different outreach things. And like, there was I think maybe in the middle of the season we went for a garbage pickup, and it's guys on the team that show up, but you also have the fans coming as well, and that's something you don't really see. Is fans that are out there with the players, mixed in together, and really trying to make a difference, and really making a connection. And so for me, that was kind of a really fun ride to experience, was a fan base that was so up close and personal. And like Strasbourg, and it was definitely fun playing in that gym. And I remember the game winner you mentioned. It was I want to say maybe 2 days before that. I want to say I missed the game winner, right around the same spot in the rim, and so I definitely wanted to make sure that one went in.
Were you a celebrity around around Strasbourg? Like, did the people in town know who you were?
I wouldn't say celebrity. I don't really like the word celebrity. It's too flashy for me. But I would say it was very easy to spot the American guys, and especially since the town wasn't too big. It was maybe, and that was the entire county was 500,000. So it's fairly small. It's not too big. So going around, and especially being in Strasbourg, we were in the heart of the city. People recognized me all the time, and walking. There was all the time I'd always walk in an Apple store, and one of the workers would realize who I was. And at that point in the Apple store, it's nice because then you get help really quick, and so that was a fun advantage to have.
That's cool, man. You building. You're being a part of that community when it comes down to it, and building community, which is always great. So let's take it back now. Let's take it back to your community and growing up. So, you went to Martin Luther King High in Riverside for your freshman year, and then moved over to Roosevelt. So touch on some of those early days, man. When did you fall in love with basketball? Was it somebody that turned you on to it? Did you always love it as a kid? What was your story?
Well, yeah, I've always loved basketball. I've loved basketball since since I was 4 years old. My dad is actually the one that brought me on to basketball. He put a basketball in my hands basically as soon as I was born.
Ain't nothing like the old school. What can I say? I wouldn't be here today if the old school. I remember Mr. Magic.
Just growing up, like my dad he's a Lakers fan. So growing up, like I was all about the Lakers. I was all about Kobe. I was all about LeBron. Like I wanted to be like them. Like I dreamed the NBA. That was literally all it was. It was basketball. I have a sister that's 3.5 years older than me, and she would be playing, and there'd be a timeout, and then as soon as the timeout is I'm on the court, and I'm trying to get shots up. And so it was. I've always been that kind of guy. It's like if I can get in, like I'll make time. And so for me, basketball really started kicking in gear. I want to say maybe 4th grade. I want to say I started playing AAU competitively, like really competitively. I played for Inland Force, and that was I want to say 4th grade to 7th, maybe 4th grade to 7th grade maybe, and maybe 4th to 7th, more 4th to 8th, and I was able to really grow under them and create my foundation of basketball, and then from there I just kind of jumped from different AAU teams that helped me propel and progress little by little, and I grew each year. Even if it wasn't the right fit for me, I found a way to adapt over the course of the AAU season and still progress my game in different ways that still help me to this day. And like you said, me going to Martin Luther King, I actually the reason I went there was because of Coach Yancey Dotson. He recently just retired from Poly High School in Riverside, and he was a big time coach down there, and especially in LA too. And he was the reason I went there after my first year, and we won a CIF ring that year, my freshman year, and going into the summer things fell through. He decided not to come back, so I decided to transfer, and me and my family. And nowadays, maybe kind of you want to say like guys recruit everybody, but you're recruited at every point in high school, and guys want to be talented. So that was always a thing. And when it came to, I went to go play with my former AAU teammate Jamal Baker. And he went on to play big time in college, and he's dealt with a few injuries, but he's at Fresno State right now. And he's a very talented player as well. So, I mean, just over the course of my growth in high school, I think it really, I clicked, I want to say after my junior season, that summer, basketball just, the talent wise, everything just sped up, it clicked. And going into the season, I just kind of made a jump. And was able to put myself in a position to where I wanted to decommit from Cal State Fullerton because I felt it wasn't the right fit for me and to where my mindset was to when I signed to the school. So that led to me decommitting, and then I ended up at San Diego State. And we all know my career progression from there. But I really think between my junior and senior year is when I made a jump. The people I surrounded myself with, the coaches, the players, my family was really pushing me to be a better version of me, and that's likely because my parents and my relatives saw something more in me, and they went and helped me dig that out.
I wouldn't be here today if the old school didn't it ain't nothing like the old school. What can I say? I wouldn't be here today if the old school didn't it ain't nothing like the old school. Hey, on the real though, Ain't nothing like the old school. Hey, I was at Latin Quarter.
This special Matt Mitchell episode of the Sons of Montezuma podcast is sponsored by our online shop. At sonsofmontezuma.com/shop, you still have time to pick up some of our summer special merchandise. Swimwear from board shorts to bikinis, foam trucker hats, and our beach towel. And of course, more Montezuma t-shirt styles on the way for football season. We thank you again for all your support at sonsofmontezuma.com. Now back to the show.
Now, making that switch and deciding to come to state, what was it about state in particular that at that point in your life was the right move for you?
Well, it's actually crazy because my two dream schools growing up were San Diego State and Syracuse. It was Syracuse because Carmelo was there, Boeheim, and they were just, and Carmelo was my favorite player. And so they were just, for me, it was like, that's like, I want to go to Syracuse. Like, I want to be Carmelo, growing up. Like, that was just, that was it for me. Like, like, of course, like, people want to be like Kobe, but Carmelo and his game was really like, it was just flashy, and but it wasn't like he was jumping out the gym, but he was just a walking bucket. And he's putting it in the basket 24/7, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's how I felt. And I wanted to model my game like after Carmelo. But yeah, so like for me, like San Diego State was like the defensive powerhouse. Like you go to San Diego State, you know, you're playing defense.
Yeah.
And the guys that's come out of there, and then as well, just going into it, it was kind of a little bit more comfortable for me. Between my two choices at the time were actually Utah and San Diego State. It was a little bit more comfortable for me to stay home, and be close to my family and still have that availability to work with the people that helped me grow. And over my first, I want to say 2-3 years, I was able to work with them. And then from there, Coach Ackers, he stepped in, and Ackers, he's a phenomenal guy. Like, just on a like basketball and personal standpoint of it, Ackers, he's a phenomenal guy, and he's actually recruited me since I was in the 8th grade, basically, when he was coaching at Hawaii, and then he went to Boise State and recruited me there, and it fell through, and I ended up going to San Diego State, and now Acker ended up at San Diego State. And so it's kind of funny how things worked, but it worked perfectly because I think me and Acker, he really helped push me my senior year, and really helped me reach for those accolades and go get it, because he sensed like that was what I wanted. I didn't want to settle for anything less than to get every accolade I could possible, and to dominate as much as I possibly could, and win as many possible games, because I wanted to put myself on a higher level. I wanted to be recognized. I wanted people to be put on notice of who I was, and so that just fueled everything going into my senior year, and San Diego State. And especially being there 4 years, I really felt like I just had a connection with the coaching staff. And I mean, even though the fans weren't there my senior year, I still felt like the gym was full packed. And so it was amazing just to say that I did my 4 years and I was able to graduate and get my degree and leave a mark. So I think that's really all you can ask for, because in that, like, I'm blessed. I don't really need anything else out of college setting. I feel like I squeezed everything I possibly could out of it. And so for me, like, I didn't need my fifth year. I was ready to be a pro. I was ready to make money. I squeezed every possible thing I could have out of being at San Diego State.
I remember, so I moved up to Reno a couple years ago. So I didn't get to see the last in the 1920 year. I came down for, I call it the Matt Mitchell game, the February 1st game when Kawhi had his jersey retired.
Yeah.
That was the game where I was sitting there in the first half. And as an athlete, too, you're kind of like, there's just, the flow's not there. There's something isn't clicking. And that first half I was like, oh man, is this really gonna, and then all of a sudden in the second half, the Matt Mitchell game. Right. So what was it at halftime? What kind of was the turnaround of that game for you? Was it a mental thing or kind of like, I'm sick of this, man, let's just go get this done?
Well, hold on. Before you answer that, Matt, we got to set the stage because we're talking about Kawhi Leonard is in the building, like Riverside.
Jersey retired night.
Jersey, yes. Everybody in the arena is wearing Kawhi's 15 t-shirt, So it's Utah State. Nobody likes Utah State. I mean, yeah.
Nobody.
You gotta set the stage for people to understand the gravity of the situation.
But the Aztecs is doing great this year, so thanks for coming, seeing the jersey get revealed, but we got another half to go.
I remember being really irritated at halftime because, yes, Utah State was a very talented team. But I felt like that game, we just had so many self-errors and so many mistakes that were self-inflicted and had that not have happened, maybe we didn't have our scoring, but it would have just been a low-scoring game, and we wouldn't have felt so down and out in the first half. The energy was drained out of the gym, and I just remember coming out at halftime, and I just tried to just clear my head of everything. I just tried to clear my head of everything, and I want to say it wasn't even I wouldn't even say it. It was that maybe the first or second media timeout that I clicked. And I literally just sat there in the entire media timeout, just envisioning like making shots, just making shots. And little did you know, the shots actually, they just came to me. It wasn't even like, it was forced, but it was just in flow. And so once I hit a couple, it was like, okay, now I can take a risky one. And for players that know, like once you take that heat check and it goes in, anything's game. So for me, it was all about like, it was just all confidence. It was nothing else but sheer confidence, and the fact that I clicked. I really felt like in that moment, like there was nothing nobody in the world could do to stop that downhill, that snowball effect. And that was something that, I don't know, I don't think I saw out of myself until since my freshman year when I had 31, and I kind of strung together. And now coming full circle, it was kind of just being able to feel that again. I think that helped me into the rest of the back end of the season, was kind of that stepping stool. But really for me, I want to say like maybe around that 16-minute mark, for me was when like something just clicked, and I just caught fire. And I mean, really, that was a crazy experience. The roar of the crowd, and the emotion playing against Utah State, like you said, nobody likes Utah State. Nobody likes Sam Merrill. It was all about beating Utah State. And so for them to come in the house and beat us, that just it didn't sit right. And especially with the year we were having, it was at halftime that was a sour one to have to deal with. And everybody is mad and everybody was frustrated, and we're not supposed to be losing these guys, and yeah, so it was definitely a great night for me, but I don't think it should have came down to all that.
It was one of the best games that I've seen. Aztec games that I've seen in person. I mean, just, you're right, that whole atmosphere. I mean, how packed it was, how hard it was. I don't think you understand how hard it was to get a ticket. I mean, tickets were going for like $200-$300 a pop, just to get in there, to see Kawhi, and then having his whole team there, coaching staff and everything. I mean, yeah, it was such an electric, environment. And what I remember distinctly about you is after one of those heat check threes, you hit it and you just went like, ooh, like it was like I'm on fire, and it was, I had no voice after that game. I mean, it was just, it was so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Take it away, Mitchell. Bumps it from Horton. Mitchell wants to take Bear Stone. William cut off. Mitchell eyes it. Mitchell. Banging with beat again.
You are listening to Shake It by Aztec Music Group recording artist Tachus, Tachus. AMG has just released their compilation album featuring 9 tracks, all from San Diego State student recording artists. The album, entitled Strength in Sound, is available now on Spotify, and for more, just go to aztecmusicgroup.com.
I want to know about that dunk, though, because everybody who knows Matt Mitchell's time at SDSU knows about the dunk. And we're talking about against New Mexico. I would shed a tear for the defender, but we don't cry for the Lobos,
I remember that we pre-switched their out of bounds play after during the timeout. I think KJ was guarding Lyle, and they wanted to post Lyle up under the rim and get a little lob for a cheap one. They were doing it all year, and they would catch every team with it. And so we just pre-switched. And I want to say it was maybe Maluak or whoever's taking the ball out threw it a little bit too high. And he threw it a little bit. Well, it wasn't even a little bit. It was a little bit too high for Lyle. And I was able to kind of reach over and get a hand on it. And I just chased it down. And as far as the actual dunk, I was chasing the ball and I was going like the way the ball was rolling. I wanted to just pick it up and go dunk it, because it was just in motion. So I just waited. I waited to chase it down and then pick it up and go dunk. And when I went up to jump, I forget his name, but he ran under me. Their guard ran under me. But I was already in the air, so I had no choice but to just try and dunk it as hard as I could. And I mean, by the grace of God, it went in.
I had no choice. I had to dunk it.
I might have had my eyes closed if I could get a good angle at it.
Matt, back in the day, before the breakaway rims, the glass would have been all over the Viejas floor.
I definitely would have loved to shatter a backboard.
We would have had to read that on the many list of accolades at the beginning. The first and only shattered glass at Viejas Arena. Oh man.
I mean, that's probably top. It might be the top dunk I've seen at school there, man. I mean, it's definitely in the discussion for the top. I can't remember one off the top of my head that was that. Like I said, I was up here, so I fly down for some of the games. So I was up here, and I woke my dog up. My dog was asleep next to me because I was like, "Oh, what?" And so he was like, "What happened? What happened, Dad?" But it was like just one of those, man. I was just like, "Wow!" And then the announcers were just going crazy, you know. And so it was, oh man, that was a great dunk. That was a great dunk, man. But
it's definitely up there with, I would say, Jamal Franklin throwing it off the backboard at Fresno State and dunking it from the 3-point line when he threw it off the backboard.
I mean, yeah, it's just tough to beat that one. I couldn't say I would have the confidence to throw that off the backboard in game. So I definitely think Jamal can have that one.
I don't think a lot of people would do that, man. But so what at your time at State? Who was the one? I know you talked about Coach Acker. What teammate did you kind of learn the most from that really, you know, you took away a lot of positive from that? You're like, all right, I'm going to do this, and that really helped your game.
I would say over the 4 years that I was there, it would be Jordan, and just his shooting mechanics and his ethic he put behind his shooting was interesting to be a part of, because shooting wasn't always the most important part of my game. I could always make the three, but it was always something that I hit you with on the back end, because I'm so aggressive now that you're backing off. Now I can show you that I can make the three. But for Jordan, it was like I'm shooting this ball, and there's nothing you can do to stop me from getting it off.
Yeah.
And there's no type of contest you could bring that's going to affect my shot. And that was really intriguing for me to be able to learn from over the 4 years, and to see even how Jordan's shooting in his game evolved. Because Jordan became a freaking great defender. He came in his first year, and I remember just the struggle of the defensive side. It was almost, I want to say, a year's flip to where Jordan was now. He could move his feet, and he could keep multiple defenders in front of him in a possession, and that was really big for us on the back end, to have not only a guy that's a knockdown shooter, but he can move his feet on defense. So I'd say in a long span, it'd be Jordan. But I would also say maybe in a short span, it would be Agwek or KJ. And I would say it was more of a similarity in mentality when it came to the game, when it came to basketball with them. AG was just a dog on the boards, and you couldn't stop him from getting a rebound. And in practice, we're running because of AG, because he keeps getting offensive rebounds. and we're pissed about it, because we're starting to realize, like, he's just an elite rebounder, and we've got to live with the fact that he's making us better. And KJ, it was the intensity he brought every day, the energy he brought every day. The KJ you see on camera, the KJ you see during the game, the high emotion, high level, and out there, and he's showing you his game, but he's telling you as well. That KJ, he's there every day, and it doesn't falter. And with that, like, you have to respect that those type of people that bring it every day and don't change. And that kind of, maybe in a shorter span, was more of guys that I was able to kind of learn from. But overall, I think you got to be able to take things from different people and really just take pieces from everywhere and learn to put them together yourself.
So what are you taking? What are you going to take with you to the summer league this year?
For me, I'm taking from the European game the high level IQ, the forward thinking, the pace, and being able to dominate in a small space. Because in Europe, it's all about dominating in a small space. If you can dominate your man in front of you without having to worry about the secondary defenders, for me, being an attack guy, then you're already one step ahead. Because now when it comes to the NBA and guys are more athletic and you've got that first guy out of there, now you can focus on getting to more of your expanded game of being able to play with different athletic moves. In Europe, it's very hard because once you get past the first guy, the next two guys are waiting on you. Whereas in NBA, it's maybe the next one guy, maybe it's a shallow contest. And so maybe being able to dominate your guy in a small space for me is going to be big time, and playing quick. And then also, which is always got to be a thing, is the defensive side, because that's what the league needs right now. The league is flooded with offensive talent. And so for me, going into the NBA, I don't think the Denver Nuggets or any of the NBA association teams are looking for me to be a LeBron James right now, or a Kyrie Irving, or a Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson. They're looking for me to be able to defend and knock down shots. And if that's all you need me to do, I'm putting 110% into knocking down shots and playing defense, switching, guarding whoever it is, 1 through 5. It's what I do, what I've prided myself over doing since I was a freshman in high school, and just picking up and cleaning up after everybody and being that glue guy.
Oh man, wow, man! I'm excited for you this summer, man. I really am. I've never been out there to the summer league in Vegas. I might have to make a trip out there.
It'll definitely be an interesting summer. We definitely have a talented team, and so it's all starting to come into fruition. And now that things are laying out in front of me, I see the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah, are there any other SDSU guys playing in summer league?
I want to say maybe Jordan is, with the City Go-Go, Yanni. I don't believe he's playing summer league. He's Yanni's right now. He's EuroLeague level. So for me, like, if I was Yanni and trying to decipher between the two, if you're not going to play big minutes on a NBA team for the summer, and like a lot of guys right now are doing, and that want to go play overseas and make 6-7 figures, it's kind of a pick and choose. And if you decide to play summer league, that team can go find someone else. So I think for certain guys it plays out certain different ways, but I think basketball will find its fit for you if you respect it, and if you respect the game. If you respect the game, it'll treat you graciously.
Matt, you sound like you've been reading some Phil Jackson books lately, man. Can you tell?
Man, maybe so. Maybe my sleep.
Yeah.
My sleep. But I think honestly, I've just learned a lot over the last 10 months, and especially having the year I had in college. It was very important for me to mentally and physically not take a step back, but to stay grounded and keep shoveling forward, just taking small steps forward, and showing people that I'm NBA talent and that, you know, I can help a team win.
We certainly wish you the best with that, man. We're going to be following your journey in the summer league, pretty much wherever you go. And that's what, you know, we want all the Aztecs for life to know, that, like, you know, even if you're playing overseas, we're still going to follow you on social media and, you know, post your highlights and, you know, the Aztec faithful, they want to see the guys who have graduated and how they're doing. And so, I know personally me, I try to, you know, retweet everything that is you're involved in and with SIG Strasbourg, and that'll go for wherever you're at, you know. So I think we have a great community here, and we're all Aztecs and Aztecs for life, and you're a part of a special community.
Thank you. I'm glad to be a part of the community. You guys show love day in and day out, all year long. So I really appreciate you guys for sure.
What are your thoughts on the basketball program moving forward at State? What are your thoughts about the future?
I think the future is very bright for them, especially this upcoming year, with the guys they have coming back, and Lamont, Keishad, Matt Bradley's coming back. And so they really have a lot of Adam Seiko's come back. They really have a lot of core guys that are coming back, and those core guys are consistently getting better. I really think a healthy Lamont might help propel this team to something really great, because he can be that glue guy for a team and put a guy together, because he does the little things on the court, he does the big things on the court, and he does them on both sides of the ball.
One of our favorites for sure.
I just want to ask two quick questions, because I want to, so we have it. So what was your favorite road venue to play at, conference wise?
My favorite road venue, I would say either Boise State or Utah State. Utah State or Boise State. One of those two.
And which was the team you loved to beat the most, or the player you loved to guard or play against?
I'd say the team I look forward to playing the most was probably Colorado State or Boise State, just because those were the teams that had a plethora of guys that were coming at you, and had multiple weapons. And I mean, with Utah State, it was fun to play then, because you had Sam Merrill and Katie to deal with, and for them, like, it was just for us, it was more like a head-to-head battle. And they had Brock Miller, that is a sniper shooter, and you had Bean coming off the bench, and he's a big-time rebounder, big-time stat guy. So that was kind of fun. But that Colorado State and that Boise State, especially with Colorado State, and I really love playing against those young guys, and Isaiah Stevens and David Roddy. And shout out to David Ruddy. He just got drafted, and shout out to David. So congratulations to him. But I think those guys, and when they had Thistlewood, they had those guards coming off the bench and more, and they were very dynamic. And nobody really gave them much love earlier on, because they didn't see the worth in that team. But it's guys like that and programs like that that go on to shock people in the NCAA tournament, because nobody's over the course of the year they stay steady, they don't dip, and they just keep progressing. And so for a team like that, it was definitely fun to play them.
One of the greatest things is that with Aztecs basketball in the Mountain West Conference, the championship always runs through Viejas Arena, right? And
yep.
I mean, all the work that you put in your development, in helping to build this program and take it to higher heights, you're a huge part of it, man. You're a huge part of it, Matt. And you know, if this is just a chance that we get to express that to you, and you know, I wish we could have had you on an NIL. I know NIL wasn't in your time, It wasn't in your cards for that time, but you know.
Yeah, that'd been nice. But thank you guys. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you guys having me on. This has been a blast, man. It's been fun.
All the best this summer at the Summer League. Matt Mitchell, thank you again so much. And man, we look forward to big things in the future. We'll keep our eyes open and our ears plugged to everything that's going on with you, man. And hopefully this won't be the last time we talk with you.
Yes, sir. It definitely won't be. I'll be back on with you guys soon.
Yeah. Well, good luck, man. I am locked in, right?
Sir, locked
I know
in.
Whenever I see that, I say, all right, I got to check the box score tomorrow morning, see what's going on, you know? So, yeah,
Yes,
good luck
sir.
for everything.
Should be
And
fun.
yeah.
Yes, sir. You guys have a great night. Take care.
All right, Matt. Take care.
Well, that does it for this Kiss the Rings episode. Thank you for joining us and Matt Mitchell. Make sure to subscribe to the Sons of Montezuma podcast on Apple and leave us a good review. Until next time, sonsofmontezuma.com. Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs!